Hi, this is Mr. Evans. This video is a video that was actually, someone asked me to have a look at this essay. It was a good question, so I thought I'd do a video on it. The question is, to what extent do all businesses need to undertake organisational structural change to ensure that a new strategy of multi-channel distribution is implemented effectively? Now, I'm imagining that this is the 24 mark question at the end of paper 3. The 2018 paper 3 is coming up in a couple of days, and it's worth remembering that this final question in the paper 3, so far to date, all of the other questions in paper 3 are specifically applied to the case study, so you need to read the case study carefully. This final question in paper 3, the all businesses question, you can use the case study to help you develop your answer, but you need to answer in the context of all businesses. So hopefully this will help you prepare, give you some ideas about how you can approach one of these all businesses questions. A top band answer will have a depth and range of knowledge that's precise and well selected. It's going to have analysis throughout the essay that's applied effectively to the context. So the context is all businesses. It considers a balanced range of issues, and it makes judgments or provides solutions which are built effectively on analysis, show balance, and have a clear focus on the question as a whole throughout. So, as usual, it might be worth you just taking a couple of minutes to think about how you would plan this essay if this was the all businesses question at the end of paper 3. And we'll have a look at my answer to it. So, I've decided to start off with a definition. I don't always start with a definition because the examiner says that you don't have to. But I think in this context, in this question, I haven't, in the rest of my essay, made it really clear to the examiner that I know exactly what multi-channel distribution is. So this beginning of the essay here sets the context for the examiner that I really understand what multi-channel distribution is. And then I can build my analysis on this knowledge. So multi-channel distribution occurs when a business uses a variety of methods to get the product to the final customer. This can include physical outlets like shops, an online shop front, in other words a website, and telephone access via a call centre. So I've tried to show the examiner that I really understand this key term in the question, multi-channel distribution. Now I'm going to look at whether organisational structural change is necessary if we're going to implement multi-channel distribution. So traditional service providers and retailers tend to be organised by geographical location or by product. For example, supermarkets would tend to be organised by region, such as Southwest region, and all of the branches in that area would be served by a central warehouse that would distribute the products to each shop. These days, many supermarkets have retained their network of branches, but have also implemented online shopping. Implemented online shopping. I'm showing the examiner about implementing multi-channel distribution. I'm trying to show the examiner by echoing the words in the question that I'm answering the question. This may require a restructuring so that there is a warehouse to deal with all of the orders that come from online. So I've tried to make it clear to the examiner that some degree of organisational structural change is going to be necessary to deal with the online orders that will be coming in, making a business a multi-channel distributor. In the banking industry, many local branches of banks have been shut to reduce costs, with many services moved either online or into call centres. Too many's in a sentence isn't great English, but you can see what I'm getting at. Therefore, there may be less need for the traditional organisation by region in banking, but more need to restructure call centre staff by the products they sell. For example, a customer may be put through to a current account specialist or a specialist mortgage advisor. Maybe I should write here a telephone customer to make it clear what I'm trying to say. These could all be in different call centres around the country or even abroad. In the services sector, restructuring according to the product rather than geographical area might be a more appropriate way to deliver a multi-channel service. So I'm talking about restructuring in order to improve multi-channel distribution. And I've used so far supermarkets moving to online online, i.e. developing their online shopfront. And many banks, not only do they have online, but they've got call centres these days as well, where you can speak to a real human being. But that is a big change in the last, the call centres started happening about 15 or 20 years ago, but this is a big restructuring of the banking, of how banking is done, particularly retail banking. So I've tried to link that multi-channel distribution to a restructuring of the organisation of the business. In the case of both retailers and service providers delivering multi-channel distribution, it may make sense to decentralise some areas of decision-making away from the head office. For example, many HR decisions, such as training call centre staff or setting the hours for online delivery drivers, are probably best made at the local level. In the case of multinational businesses delivering multi-channel retail, the decentralisation of decisions at the local level would be particularly important, as staff locally would be able to respond better to local needs. So I've tried to include here a little bit of internationalisation and more reasons that decentralisation, which is about structure, it's a business theory that we can bring in, would be beneficial. So far, you'll notice I've got 3 reasons that undertaking a new strategy of multi-channel distribution will require some organisational structural change. So I need a bit of balance now to ensure that I hit this descriptor a balanced range of issues. However, it is vital that service standards and consistency are maintained across the multi-channel retailer. For example, a bank's customer would expect the same quality of mortgage advice were it delivered in-store or via a call centre employee. A shopper choosing to go into store would expect to find the same goods and services available in-store as are available online. Purchasing all products centrally, regardless of how they are distributed, either online or via a network of stores, helps supermarkets to gain purchasing economies of scale and is a source of competitive advantage for them. Should be a full stop. Therefore, it would make sense for some areas of decision making, particularly marketing, purchasing and customer service monitoring, to be made centrally in the traditional way in order to retain consistency across the business. So I'm trying to say here that even it doesn't matter how the service is delivered, a multi-channel retailer will need, multi-channel business will need to monitor customer service centrally. You'd want the purchasing decisions in a multi-channel retailer business to be made centrally as well, so you can benefit from economies of scale and retain consistency across the brand, which is the same with marketing. We want a consistent brand image to be delivered. Therefore, even if you're a multi-channel retailer, you don't want to necessarily engage in total organisational restructuring. You can maintain some of the same structure even if you're delivering the product in a multi-service channel. I hope that's come across in that paragraph there. In conclusion, it is inevitable that some degree of restructuring would be necessary to ensure a smooth transition to being a multi-channel retailer. So what have I done? At the start, I've answered the question very clearly. This is because some decisions will need to be decentralised so they can be made by managers with expertise in that area of service delivery, for example, delivering customer service via a call centre. So I've tried to back this up with something that I've talked about, which is that the decentralisation to specialists will be important. However, most multi-channel businesses will want to retain some element of a business's traditional structure to ensure consistency in decisions related to purchasing and marketing. So in my conclusion, I've managed to try and get some balance into that by building my judgment on my analysis and showing that yes, some parts of becoming a multi-channel retailer will require restructuring, but some parts of the business won't need to be restructured. So that's how I've tried to incorporate balance into my conclusion.